Hey everyone, Joe here. Just wanted to stop and make a quick video on what I think happened on Super Tuesday. So let's get into it. Obviously, it was not a great night for Bernie Sanders. We did have some wins. I think there is some reasons we can point to why we didn't do better than we did. But last night, make no mistake, it was, obviously it was a big night for Joe Biden and the establishment. We'll get into the reasons for that quick. So the move by President Obama and the establishment to convince Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar to drop out was a masterstroke. To get them to drop out and endorse Joe Biden because their voters broke massively for Joe Biden last night. And there's definitely some reasons for that I think we can fix. So we'll get into some specifics, but what happened is Bernie Sanders did very, very well with early voting. He was up big with early voting. Late deciders that decided yesterday or the day before broke big for Joe Biden. It was directly related to what happened with the candidates dropping out and endorsing him. So Obama did his job. He said he wasn't going to endorse anybody. He didn't, but he put his finger on the scale big for Joe Biden, and it worked. People came out. They framed him over the last 24 hours. Basically, CNN and MSNBC operated as an extension of the Biden campaign. Joe Biden was the comeback kid, and he had Joe Mentum and all this nonsense that they spouted right up until and through the election coverage. So that convinced a lot of people that Joe Biden was the candidate to take on Donald Trump, when the complete opposite is true. We all know that. It's now our job to convince the voters that of the truth, that Joe Biden will lose to Donald Trump. It's not a question. It's not a certainty. There's not a chance. It's a certainty. He will lose to Donald Trump, just like Hillary Clinton did. There's really no differences between Joe Biden and Hillary Clinton. They have the same exact baggage. The only thing is Joe Biden doesn't have the positive things that Hillary Clinton had going for her. Obviously, a ton of people would have been very excited to see the first woman president. Joe Biden doesn't even have that going for him. He's got the baggage of voting for every bad trade deal that shipped American jobs overseas, family-sustaining jobs that with the pension that people retired on. They got shipped overseas so Wall Street can make more money. So people like Mike Bloomberg and Bill Gates and whole host of other people can make a few more billion. The few billion they had wasn't enough. Obviously, it's never enough. So that's what happened. They CNN, MSNBC, all the other media, they framed Joe Biden as the comeback kid. He was the guy to beat Trump. His campaign was on the upswing, and it worked big. He won. He won in Massachusetts, where he should not have won. He won in Maine, where he should not have won. He won in Oklahoma, where he should not have won. He blew out Bernie in Virginia. He won in Texas, which he shouldn't have. However, there is a lot of caveats to Texas. There was some definite voter disenfranchisement going on there in Latino communities where Bernie Sanders is strongest, which definitely needs to be looked into. If I was Bernie, I would be requesting some sort of investigation into that, because that was done specifically to hurt the Sanders campaign. By who ordered it, I'm not sure. I don't have any details on that yet. We are going to look into it and see what we can find out. I will let you guys know if anything comes of it. So I do think that relates to Bernie not winning Texas. However, delegate-wise, they're going to come out of Texas basically tied. We won California, which was huge. Thank you, California. Love you, California. That was big. Without California, we would have been in very, very serious trouble. But the people of California came through, and we needed it. Coming out of Super Tuesday, delegate-wise, it should be pretty close to even. Biden may be up a couple. Sanders might even be up a couple. It depends how the delegate math breaks out in California. They're not done counting votes yet. California is notoriously long for getting the vote in because of all the early voting. You can actually have your vote postmarked as of election day, and your vote will still count. So probably is even a lot of votes still waiting to come in. So we'll probably know later in the week or early next week what the final shakeout will be. But Bernie did very well in California. He won Colorado. He won Utah. He won Vermont. So that was big. We needed that. It's a two-person race now. But no, it's not a two-person race because we have Elizabeth Warren. Why she is still in definitively, I don't know. I have my suspicions. There's one of two reasons. Either she's hoping to steal the nomination at the convention, which is insane. It will never happen. It's never going to happen. I really hope that's not why she's staying in. The only other reason is that she has made a deal with the Biden campaign. Everybody that dropped out that could have helped Biden is out. The one person that may be able to help Sanders is still in. Did she cut a deal with Joe Biden? I have my suspicions she did, but I don't know definitively, so I'm not going to say that. I hope that's not the case. There was a poll done a while ago that says if Warren dropped out, 40% of her voters would go to Sanders. If she had done that, there is no doubt Bernie would have won Massachusetts, and there's no doubt Bernie Sanders would have won Maine, which Joe Biden won both last night, because of the factors that I just alluded to a minute ago. But if Warren had dropped out, that would have helped very, very, very much. But she didn't, for whatever reason. I hope somebody talks to her. She's only hurting her legacy, destroying her legacy. If she drops out now and endorses her longtime friend Bernie, that may help. And even if she doesn't want to do it for Bernie, put this progressive movement that you work so hard for before your ego. I would have supported you. If you were the candidate, the progressive candidate that had a path forward, you'd have my support. But that's Bernie Sanders, so he has my support, because this is about a movement. It's not about Bernie, and it's not about you. Put your ego aside and do what's best for this movement. And in your heart, you know what that is. Don't be selfish. Put your ego aside, as hard as it is. We need you, Elizabeth. All right, so what do we do going forward? This race is not over. We have a long time to go till Milwaukee, the convention. So there's a lot of things we can do. I've been thinking to myself for a while, Bernie absolutely needs to update his message. There's no doubt about it. We've been hearing the same exact message with no variation since 2016. And it's a great message. Medicare for all, free college, free public universities for everyone, taking on the fossil fuel industry, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's awesome. That is exactly what we need. However, we need to go more than that. Now that it's basically a two-person race, we need to every single day draw the distinctions between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden. There's a reason Joe Biden's campaign imploded before Super Tuesday, because he's an awful candidate. We need to point that out. We need to show everyone that Bernie Sanders is the most electable candidate, not Joe Biden. Bernie Sanders has the best chance of beating Trump, and he is the most electable. That's why Biden won so big last night, because he was framed as the most electable candidate. Now that it's a two-person race and the message will not be jumbled like it was with 9 or 10 people in it, that's a winning message for us. What Joe Biden stands for and what Bernie stands for, that's a winning message for the Sanders campaign. That's a winning message for us. Biden voting for every bad trade deal there was, the vote in Iraq, banning abortion on the state level, which he supported, standing on the Senate floor arguing for cuts for Social Security, the crime bill, and countless other things that Joe Biden has supported. The gaffes, constant gaffes that he's notorious for on the campaign trail, a bad debater. Trump will eat him alive, and we need to expose that to the rest of the voters, to the moderate wing of the Democratic Party, especially people in suburbs, older African Americans. We need to get that message out. We need to use whatever media avenues we have to get that message out. It's very important. It's go big or go home. This primary is about to get nasty. It's about to get real. And it's going to be trench warfare, and we need to dig in, because it's about to get nasty. So that is the message Bernie needs to hammer going forward. Now, when there is a debate, as there's going to be a lot less people on that stage, we're going to have a lot more talk time for Joe Biden to make a fool of himself, because I do think he's going senile. There's something going on with him. It brings me no pleasure at all to say that. I always liked Joe Biden. He seems like a nice enough guy. I never would wish him harm, but there does seem to be something going on with him. The stuff he's saying and the stuff he's forgetting, it's not normal. So we need to take that in consideration as well. We need somebody on their top of their game to take on Donald Trump. So, one of the best things Sanders has going for him going forward right now is that Joe Biden is his opponent. Joe Biden may very well take himself down, but we can't wait for that. We need to help him along the way. And on the debate stage, we need to go at him full bore. All of Sanders' surrogates on MSNBC, on CNN, and all the other news networks need to highlight the differences full bore. We need to call out CNN. We need to call out MSNBC on air every chance we get and shame them for being an extension of the Biden campaign. Because that's what they are. They're just another arm of the Biden campaign. That needs to be exposed on air. We need to call them out by name every chance we get. High-profile Sanders surrogates need to do that. There's no more playing Mr. Nice Guy. For whatever reason, the establishment hates Bernie Sanders. Well, I know the reason, but you'll understand what I'm saying in a second. They hate Bernie Sanders because he's a threat to their power. He's a threat to the lobbyists. He's a threat to the consultant class. He's a threat to the think tanks, which all the Democratic pariah or all the Democratic people make their living through. They siphon all that money, and that's how they make their living. That's how they get rich, by keeping the corruption flowing, keeping the donors' money flowing, distributing it to everybody. It goes around, and that's how the wheel keeps on turning. That's how they keep their necks, their boots on the necks of the working people. Because make no mistake, their boot is on our necks, keeping us down, making us work 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table and keep a roof over our head. If this is the greatest and powerful country on earth, there is no need for that. The only reason that is because Wall Street's getting richer and we're getting poorer. The economy's working great for Wall Street while it's fucking Main Street. And enough is enough. We need to stand up and demand enough is enough. The Sanders campaign has to understand that. We need to go full bore at the establishment and call out the corruption for what it is. We need to call it out for what it is on air every chance we get, and to shame them to where they have no choice but to be a fair and balanced news network. Because right now, that's the furthest thing what they are. They are fake news. So that's what we need to do. There is a winning message going forwards. It's highlighting what we stand for. Justice for all, healthcare for all, education for all that want it, an end to endless wars, and a fair and balanced country where we can work and live with dignity. That is a winning message for us. We are on the right side of history. We have the right message. We are true to our beliefs. We are true to justice. We are the ones that want a fair and just place to live. That shouldn't be too much to ask, to work and live with dignity. And that's what the Sanders campaign has to focus on going forwards. Joe Biden is a terrible candidate. We need to expose him for the terrible candidate he is. We need to expose the establishment for the corrupt pieces of junk that they are. Because they have, like I said, they've had their boot on our necks for far too long, and we're getting sick of it. If you want to lose in November, Joe Biden's your guy. If you want to beat Donald Trump in November, vote Bernie Sanders. Talk to your family and friends, make phone calls, knock on doors, get on social media, do everything you can. Bernie Sanders is the man to beat Donald Trump in November. Joe Biden will without a doubt lose to Donald Trump in November. You heard it here. We said it in 2016 with Hillary Clinton, and we were right. We're saying it 2020 with Joe Biden, and we're right again. Let's not let it happen. There's far too much on the line. Bernie Sanders to beat Donald Trump in 2020. That's it. That's our message going forward, guys. It's go big or go home. It's all or nothing right now, and we need to get out there and hit the pavement. So Bernie Sanders campaign, listen to what we are saying. Listen to the people. That is the message we need going forward to win this race. So thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Solidarity.